So when you're doing this part of it, right? So so when you're getting into the music scene, like when does that like start to pick up? Like what year is that?
Right, yeah, man. Like, I mean, we started like hosting our own parties at Cabaret Underworld. I don't know what it's called now, but it used to, I don't know if you remember what Cabaret
Nah,
Underworld was.
dude, that's like a big ass venue.
Yeah, yeah, the venue allowed, and they ended up changing the name and ownership. But anyways, like we were like throwing parties there like every couple of months, and like we'd throw the parties, and we'd have like our own performances there. So we're doing that, and then after that, we ended up doing perform. We ended up opening for Bun B and like a few other rappers. So like that's where like it started picking up. And what year? Oof, that's a good question. I can't tell. I'm not good with the years, but it was like 20. I had to be in like early 20s, so like maybe like 22, 23. That was like about it.
That's like
Like yeah, about like yeah, when I was like yeah, when I
2012,
was about like
2011.
yeah, like when I was about like 22, 23, and like the flag football was picking up. You know what I mean? Like
So yo,
we were there, we were
you're like
winning.
sitting there, guys, and you're out throwing parties. How do you like promote this shit? How are you guys actually like making this work so that you're able to come back
Twitter, Twitter.
month after month?
We
So,
were yeah, we were heavy on Twitter back in the day, like during that like 2012, 2013, even 2014, like we were heavy on Twitter, man. Like our activity on Twitter was like big. Like whenever we would post, like there was a lot of interactions, a lot of reactions. So like we were very heavy on Twitter. We had like some merch like before like this came up, like this started like where it was basically no regard, not the same font. And after we had like the Twitter handle on the side. So like we were selling that as well. So like it was kind of big during that like those like between 2012 and 2014. So like we were doing that, and like the flag football helped a lot because we were winning, and
but it's
we had a lot of
oh
people
man, but
coming
it's
out to our
like
games and stuff like that.
it's what I really liked about watching. And this is for JS, that like documentary is like it's a case study in like how to actually collectively create this honestly culture that attracts people that may not even give a shit about you inherently. And
Hundred
that's the
percent.
wildest thing because there are so few of those that I believe I personally like witnessed, or I didn't witness this, but like like talk to people involved in it that were like, yo, we did that, it was successful, and it's like, yo, it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think it's more so like genuine because when we started the flag thing, it was like we were really like a group of friends, and there were some people on the team like we didn't know, like Travis and Jordan. I didn't know them personally, knew their dad, but they ended up coming on the team, and like we ended up growing up with them. Like I saw them as like they were young kids when they came on the team, like about 16, 17. And after now they're like grown men and they're like late 20s, you know what I mean? So
That's
it,
actually a
it was
cool
very
nugget
genuine.
there. I
So
like.
like
So you have
so
young
like
people
yeah, like
around. That's
yeah,
important.
young people around, and like I think people could relate that was genuine, that like a group of friends. It wasn't like we were a football team or like I said we were just a group of guys and said let's just we'll do this, and we ended up doing it so like people could relate, like wow, like look at these guys, just a bunch of like quote unquote nobodies, and they made something out of nothing. So it was fun. I can't lie. Like, and that's always gonna. And everyone on that team that ended up winning, like, I'm pretty sure they could like down the line, whether it's now, 10 years from now, when we're older, gray hair and all that, they'll go back and say like that was like a chapter in their own life because it was big. It was still big. Like for me, it's always gonna be big.
So basically, the formula is to win as a team, as underdogs, and that will help you get social media buzz.
I mean, a little bit, but it's also who we are as people. JS is nice on the social media. I do my thing. Dimi does his thing. Fresh does his thing. Like we all do our thing in our own respective ways. But like, yeah, I think that it's all intertwined together for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's because, like, I look at the current landscape of social media, and it's not a lot of, like, squads on social media. It's more a lot of
Mm-mm.
individuals on social media, and it doesn't carry the same weight or impact as, like when you see, like, y'all unified doing it, like a collective assault on these old people in this group that didn't want you there. I mean, I'm taking this
Yeah,
from the movie, so this is JS's
yeah, yeah,
storytelling
yeah,
interpreted by me 4 months ago or whatever. But it was
yeah.
amazing to watch, and it was like I was like honestly in my head taking notes, like, yo, who's the villain? Who are we taking on? That was important too because there was almost like, not to call them villains, but in an archetype of a story.
No, villains. Yeah, you're right. We were villains, 100%, and
No,
we
in
were the
my
villains that
opinion,
ended up turning into
y'all, because it
good guys.
depends on who you ask. You're the villains to one side, but you're the heroes to the other side. And so
Okay,
you
fair
create
enough.
this
Yeah.
like, because when I hear the story, I'm not like y'all are the fucking villains. I'm like, nah, because in my life, I empathize with the hashtag no regard crew a lot more than I empathize with the side that was maybe not into you. So
Mhm.
whoever hears the story is gonna picture it however they want to picture it. But the fact that there was that level of like almost polarization, giving people a side to root for, is amazing within itself.
For sure. Like, and that's how like most stories go. Like, you could interpret it however you want, and you end up picking your side. And like maybe some people at the beginning, they didn't like us, but they grew to love us, and that's what we kind of like. I'll take that for sure. Like if you end up growing to love us at the end, like that's a big check mark for us because we did it for ourselves. At the end of the day, really didn't care about no one else. Like us, don't like us. Don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have a sense of what you mean. I mean, I've talked to JS a little bit, so I have an idea of the no regard mentality and what it brings to
Yeah,
the
that's pretty
table.
much it. The name holds weight, man. The name holds weight.
I like it a lot. So you kind of go through that run. What are some of your biggest takeaways from that? Like just being part of all of that.
Oh man. The biggest thing I would say is kind of like I guess like being like the captain of the team. Like like you could just like sign up, register the team, that's cool, but like you're still like a group of friends and you still have to like kind of like make it work. Like you're not there to like I could pretty much talk for everyone on the team. Like we're not like we're a bunch of sore losers. Like we don't want to lose. So I'm not here. We're not we're not here to waste our time. So you know what I mean? There's like certain things that have to be done, and and certain moves where you gotta make, and like these are like still your friends. These are guys you can still see the next day. So like being the captain of the team was it helped me grow, like, and it taught me a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like that was kind of like that's a lot that I got from it. Like being the captain of the team, like amongst friends. Like there's a lot of things that like had to be made, and you're not doing it like as a friend. I'm doing it as like the captain of the as a team. You know what I mean? Like so, it's like
Yeah.
take it how you want.
I mean, I empathize with what you're saying. I deal with people in the world that I'm in, and when you're like the guy who's hosting an event, in a sense you're the captain of the event, and your
Yeah.
responsibilities aren't the same as maybe all the people's equal. But I think that's really nifty. So how do you navigate that? Like, okay, so you're in charge of your friends in a sense in the context of a football team. Maybe not in charge, but the leader,
Hmm.
the decider
Yeah.
of shit. So how do you like navigate that line and then wake up the next day and get drunk with them all and do all that shit? Because if it appears like that seems to be the talent of KD.
I mean, at the beginning, it wasn't. It was kind of easy, but it's after we kind of won the championship, and then after you got to start, like we're going higher in the division, so like there's a certain talent that you kind of need to like kind of play. So like you gotta cut off some fat. So like that was tough, and that was kind of tough for me because like as I said, he's like my friend. So like I'm a person that always said like, listen, I will let you decide like your own fate in a way. Like I won't full out tell you like you're off the team, but I'll let you play it out. And if you're not meeting certain expectations, you could easily bow out. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't go out and be like, you're off the team. But between me and you, this is like where it's kind of like, okay, maybe I should just call it. And like some people saw it that way, some people didn't. But for the most part, I think it's just like, I think only one person from that era, like I don't talk to anymore. Like we're not cool anymore. But other than that, everyone like we're still like on a good level, unless it's something I don't know. You know what I mean? So
That's dope though. But that's like some real
yeah,
friendship.
no, it is very tough because I'm not doing this as your friend. Like I'm trying to better the team. You know what I mean? And like if that's what it is, that's what it is. And like it's a harsh reality. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, who am I to tell you like you can't play? You know what I mean? But then that's why I tell people like, yo, you'll figure it on your own. If you can't meet like a certain uh like a playing like if you can't meet uh like a certain play style or like you can't meet a certain level of play, like you should know like, all right, this is it for me. I'm gonna just call it quits and just call it a day, and we'll just move on from there. But I
That's
wouldn't personally ever tell someone like, yo, you're cut, because who am I to tell that person? Like me, we're the same. We came in this together, so let's just go out the same way.
yeah, that's actually really like wise in approach, because you're
Yeah, like that's what I
avoiding
was tried. Yeah, that's right.
culpability a
Yeah,
bit, because it's
a
not
little bit.
like,
Yeah, 100%,
but you
hundred
let
percent.
people know like, it's smart, because then I mean people can run it, but they know in the back of their mind every day after that that like, oh shit, I am holding shit back. And then if ever you
Yeah,
lose a game, they're gonna like look in their fucking soul, and everybody's gonna know.
yeah, 100%. So I always let it up to the person, and there's always people that are always gonna be in your ear and be like, yo, we should do this, we should do that, and they'll always be like, do this, do that, but they always relied on me to like make that like final decision. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. That's like my motto for a lot of things. Like, it is what it is.
And I mean, I kind of like it in the context that you're using it, because it's mad different than, because I actually had a conversation about it is what it is today, and a lot of people use it mad passively, right? Like, yo, life is trash, so I must play my part. It is what it is.
It's what it is. Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's not the way I hear you using it, where it's more like, I made a tough decision and you may not like it,
yeah,
and your
yeah. But
feelings to which it is what it is. And
it is
that's
what
like
it is.
it's
Yeah,
a strong
exactly.
twist. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's also important, right? Like, I've been thinking a lot about ideas of like friends, right? And you listen to like
Mm-hmm.
really successful people, and they say shit like, yo, it's mad important to watch who you keep in your circle and get rid of bad fruits and shit. People who are not fruitful, like, why are they around? And then you think about it from the perspective of a sports team, and it's kind of empirical. We either do better or we do worse.
Yeah,
But the
or do worse. In
principle
fact,
kind of applies to everything in life. If your team is proper, the people around you motivated and in the same direction, you will, as a unit, kind of succeed with
move
greater.
together. Yeah,
So it's wild cool, because especially if you have to get rid of people on your team, there might be better or worse ways to go about that shit.
yeah, 100%, 100%, 100%, man. That's like